The best investment strategies or the best portfolios are those that are also the simplest. And to achieve that, it's best to stick to large ETFs. And for example, one of the most well-known index, which has a lot of ETFs tracking it or replicating it, is the S&P 500. And so you could come here and look at the United States. You can also search it here, S&P 500, which includes the 500 largest companies in the US. And we see that we have actually 80 different ETFs available to us for the S&P 500. And the first thing you want to do to be able to choose which one you should pick is to sort them by the total expense ratio here, which is essentially the fees that they charge for the ETFs. And the reason you want to do that is that, as I mentioned before, having low fees for your investments is the single most important thing you need to look at to make sure your portfolio is growing as it should. And we see here we have 4 of them that have the lowest total expense ratio at 0.03%. This is very low. In general, you want to stay below 0.20%, which is definitely the case here. So once we've looked at the fee, let's consider first these 4 cheapest ones. We look at the font size, and we see that here we have the 3 first ones are considerably larger than the 4th one. So let's drop the 4th one for now, and we can focus on the 3 largest ones. Then we can move to the performance, although it's tempting to look at the 1-year performance that you see here. But when it comes to ETFs, it's not really the best way to select ETFs. It's much more important to look at what kind of ETF you want, what is the fee, and is it large enough? And here, nonetheless, we see that there is a difference with the first one. It's half the performance of the other 2. If we come back to the name here to get a little bit of a clue of what's happening, we see that the first one has the words leaders in it. And leaders essentially means that the ETF is not including the full 500 companies. It only selected those that qualify as leaders. So in general, simplest is best. So if it were me, I would stick to a regular ETF, which includes the 500 companies included in the S&P 500. If I wanted to invest in an ETF tracking the S&P 500.